Mark, tell me about constant, never-ending improvement and what's important about it.
So, I believe it comes from Deming, but the first time I heard about it was actually in my high school football. Our coach gave us stickers, CANI, CANI, and put them on all of our helmets. And he said, so for constant, never-ending improvement, the idea that you're always looking to get at least 1% better every day in every piece of the game, every piece of the field. And then when I came to Princeton and we started reading some of these books and going through some of that stuff, I remember those lessons, and it stuck with me, for 20 years since I played high school football, that process. And I said that's something that we wanted to live by here. And listen, one of the things I always learned in business when I had my own company is either you're going forwards or you're going backwards. You're growing or you're shrinking. There is no stagnant. There is no stay. And so this idea that like you hit a certain level and then you're going to stay there. Actually, you're either improving or you're going the wrong way. And so just the notion of constant, never-ending improvement creates really an ideology where we're always going to be going forward and improving and getting better. And you start to see all the opportunities for those little improvements, those little micro improvements along the way, and you start to create a culture where people are looking for them. Ultimately, I think you end up with a better product that way.
It's the beginning of the year. It's time of New Year's resolutions and all of that. We don't have to dive into. I'm not sure how I feel about New Year's resolutions as a whole. I think that it makes it easier to drop them. Like if I'm going to do this one thing, and then it's like never mind. It's the coldest, darkest time of the year. I'm not going to work out or whatever. But what would you say that in the idea of constant, never-ending improvement, you as part of the leadership of Princeton Mortgage, what is something that you, Mark Gordon, are working on and trying to improve at?
I mean, in terms of constant, never-ending improvement, it's almost everything. Up to and including the people that we have in the seats. We want to have better people, A players in every seat every single day, and we want to continue to create more and more talent entry through the organization. There's two ways you do that. It's recruiting, getting amazing people to come work here, and it's development, getting the people that already work here to become more amazing. And so, in the spirit of that, that's something that we're working on. We're also always working on efficiencies in terms of being efficiency, in that we're looking to be effective over efficient. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we have all this geared towards being efficient, but we end up missing some of the pieces that are what makes something effective. And we want to make sure that we get things right and completely right the first time, and all the way right, as opposed to rushing through it and doing it halfway or just getting it done. And so continue to focus on that. But this is a tough question. I mean, I can bring up our rocks for the quarter. I mean, right now we have some really specific things we're trying to do where we're trying to increase employment satisfaction scores. We want our mortgage operations team to love working at Princeton Mortgage. It's some really record high numbers. That's one of our goals, and we're trying to do all kinds of incremental improvement along the way to get those scores up. We're also trying to make it so that, basically 9 out of every 10 of our salespeople would recommend our mortgage operations team to a colleague at the level of how likely would you be a 9 or a 10. So we want 9 out of every 10 people to give us a 9 or a 10 about whether they recommend our operations team. And so all of those things are about a million different opportunities for constant, never-ending improvement. And I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, by the way. I don't make them. I'm an everyday, make another resolution kind of guy myself. So
I think you have to be. I mean, I really do. I believe in that wholeheartedly. And maybe push a little bit more, and then I'll go first to give you time to think. What is something right now that you're personally working on in your life? Because I think we talk a lot about personal improvement and really working on that. And so for me right now, what I'm really, really dialed in on from a business perspective is I've been told and I'm happy about this. I think it's intentional in a lot of ways that I bring an energy and at the same time a bit of a calm to the work that I do. So, I try to bring a good mood. I try to come in and view problems as exciting, and as a chance to kind of attack them. So I'm happy that I do that. I think what goes with that sometimes is, I think to joke a little bit too much, or I tend to kind of, be uncomfortable with certain types of situations, energies, maybe even candor, like being fully candid about things that I'm feeling, when it comes to business, not just like personal feelings. So I think that is something I'm being very deliberate about as we go into this year, is trying to be very unafraid to kind of really speak my mind while still bringing that energy to my work. So that's mine for right now that I'm really focusing on. What would you say that you're personally focusing on?
I'll give you two. One is I'm trying to be more present with my kids when I get home from work in the hour before they go to sleep. Getting away from my phone, getting away from my work, and really being focused on giving them my full attention. Mm-hmm. That's something that I feel like I've undervalued up to this point. Made some sacrifices there, so that's something I'm working on, trying to improve, spending that quality time with them every night. From a work perspective, I do not like being told what to do. I don't need to be told what to do most of the time either. You tell me what your vision for something is, and I will go figure out how to get it done. And so I sort of resent being micromanaged. I resent you telling me exactly how something should be done. And so when I'm managing, I tend to sometimes undervalue certain people wanting to be told what to do. And so one of the things I'm trying to work on with my team right now is really setting clear guidelines for expectations of like the what we want by when we want. That's uncomfortable for me. It's something that I don't really need in my life. If you're like, hey, can you get this thing done? I'm going to be like, yes, and I'm going to kill myself to get it done as fast as possible, and I'll update you. But like, I'm not going to work any harder. I'm a unique person in terms of my motivation to get things done. I think a lot of other people need clear direction and clear deadlines, and so something I get uncomfortable with personally, because I like to tell you like, hey, this is what we want to get done, go do it, and then people get lost in the minutia, they get busy, they get misfocused or whatever, and because I haven't created a deadline on a specific thing, I think I'm sometimes setting those people up to fail a little bit. So one of the things I'm trying to be much better at is with the people that report directly to me saying, this is what success looks like, this is what we need it by, being very direct with that so that we can get more clarity around performance. And by the way, I think the people who work for me, their personalities are a little different. That's what they're longing for.
Yeah, that's a great one. And your first one, the personal one with your kids, I think that's so important, and something I've struggled with definitely. Also, before I came here, I was running my own business. I don't know. You get in that mindset. It never turns off, right? When you're really trying to achieve something.
A manager's work is never done.
It's never done. And so to be able to, and then it's just hard in general. Like your phone, the phones are built to take your attention. I mean, they're literally designed to take your attention. I think that, I think that's very, very smart. Something I've been trying to do as well is like, this goes away. We're having dinner. We're wrestling a little bit. We're having fun. You're gonna make me eat whatever you have in your hand, my 13-month-old, and then bedtime. So that's great.